All right, so everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat. Here today is Erev Shabbos Kodesh Parshas Vayechi. It's a special Shabbos because it's Shabbos Chazak. Okay, but it's also today is Asara B'Teves, and Asara B'Teves is a very, very unique fast. It's a very unique fast. It's actually a fast that was instituted by Yecheskel ben Buzi. Right, the Navi, he was the one that instituted this fast. And this fast is the only fast that there were times before we had our designated calendar that we have today. People used to fast on Asara B'Teves. Before we had our calendar, right? It did fall out on Shabbos. Shabbos was pushed off. And the Chassam Sofer, others asked the questions like, what is the nature of Asara B'Teves that's more important, let's say, than what do you call it, Tisha B'Av or Shavasa B'Tammuz? These are also very important days, right? Very tragic days. But when those days come before, if they come on a Shabbos, we push off the fast. But this fast is very unique that it doesn't get pushed off, and we'd actually fast on it the same way you would fast on Yom Kippur, right? And the same way you fast if someone has, let's say, a tainus cholul, right? The Gemara says if someone has a bad dream on Friday night, they have a bad dream and they want to fast. So there are a lot of fast on Shabbos. Okay, there's things they have to do to make it up because they fast on Shabbos, so they make another fast. But there's a concept that you're allowed to fast on Shabbos. Yom Kippur we fast on Shabbos, of course, right? We did that this past year, right? Shabbos we fast. But all the others, Tainesa, we push off. It's only when they come. Yeah, no. Okay, but that's the way our calendar is set up right now. That's the way the calendar is set up. But it's not Friday. That's not so important. It's more important that this Tainesa can push off Shabbos. You'll fast on the Shabbos like you would on Yom Kippur. All right, so let's try to understand what's going on and how do we tie this to the parsha. So actually, we could tie this to this week's parsha Vayechi. All right. So at the end of the parsha, we have the Maisa where the procession makes its way to Hebron, right? And on the way they were attacked. They were greeted by kings. There were kings that greeted them. The Torah tells us this, right? They were greeted, and what do you mean they were greeted by kings? There was the kings of the Plishtim, right? Of the Ishmaelim, and then you had other kings that were in the area Canaan that came to attack, and they wanted to actually wipe out the family. They wanted to wipe them out because Yaakov Avinu wasn't alive anymore. And they felt the protection was coming from Yaakov. Okay, now we can get them. Interesting, right? So what happened was when they came close to them, they saw the Aron of Yaakov Avinu, the coffin. Yosef had taken his crown and put his crown on the coffin of Yaakov Avinu as honor, to show honor to his father. When the kings saw this and they came to attack, but they saw that, they took their crowns off their heads and they put their crowns around the crown of Yosef's on Yaakov Avinu's Aron. Interesting, right? Very interesting. What does this all have to do with anything? Otherwise, okay. And then another thing happened. When they finally get to Hebron, they're greeted by none other than Esav. No one invited him, right? No one invited him, right? No one invited Esav, right?
You don't need an invitation for Levi.
Well, okay, you understand. Huh? No, it was his brother. It was his brother. Yeah. They had a lot of brotherly love there. There was a lot of brotherly love, yeah. Yeah. So Esav meets them, and Esav says, "No, this is my. I get the right here, not him. Because those 22 years when he was in Padan Aram, when your father was in Padan Aram, I had to take care of our father. I was here the whole time. I was in the land of Israel. I was here. I belong here, not him." So then they said, "Wait a second, but don't you remember Don't you remember that on that famous day when Yaakov Avinu went back? Yaakov Avinu went that night to get his pachim. Remember, he went over the Yabuk. He went over the Yabuk and he went to get those pachim, right? And he took those little jars. And then the next morning he meets Esav, right? He met the Sar Shel Esav, and the next morning he met Esav himself. He made Esav the son, and then the next morning he met Esav himself with his 400 men. So it says that Yaakov Avinu he said to Esav, look, after they spoke, Yaakov Avinu said, look, I know that you have the rights to the Moras HaMachpelah to be buried next to our father, but I would like that right. I would like that right. And Esav said, well, it's mine, and I want that.
Yaakov
Esav said that to
Yaakov said to Esav, I would like the right to be buried next to our father.
When did he say that?
On the when they met that time when they met with the 400 men.
Okay.
He said then.
I think he said it when he was going to bury him.
No. He couldn't say it then. No.
All right.
That's right.
No. I would say that dead men don't normally speak, but they say Yaakov Avinu loy meis, right? Whatever. That's another shiur for another time, right? The Gemara says that Yaakov Avinu loy meis. It doesn't say anywhere that he actually died. Right? It doesn't actually say in the Torah that he died. He gathered into his nation, it says, but it doesn't say that. Well, anyway, that's another story. So Yaakov Avinu said to Esav, I'll give you all my money. I'll give you everything. And I'll make a kri. He made a pile. He made a big pile of all the money that he made from Lavan. He came back with a lot of money. Right, he had all those sheep and he had all that stuff. He acquired a tremendous amount of wealth. He gave everything to Esav for the right to be able to be buried next to his father.
Why did he have to do that?
2 reasons. It says that Yaakov Avinu was very scared when he met Esav.
Right.
Why was he scared about? Esav had 2 mitzvahs that he didn't have. What were the 2 mitzvahs that Esav had that he didn't have? Esav had the right of living in the land when Yaakov Avinu left the land for 22 years. He wasn't living in Eretz Yisrael. So he didn't have that schus of living in Eretz Yisrael. Let us all remember, we have a big schus that we actually live in Israel. It's not something small. It's not small. Yaakov Avinu was worried that Esav lived in Israel and he wasn't living in Israel. You understand that? He was worried about that.
And that would give him the
Wait a second. So that means he had one up on Yaakov. And then Yaakov Avinu said that also Esav was there taking care of our father for the 22 years, and I wasn't there. So what does Yaakov Avinu do? He says, I want to push down, I want to take that schus from Esav. What am I going to do? I'm going to show Esav all this money. All this money. Esav loved money. Right? He saw money, he saw gold, he saw silver, he saw money, he loved it. He didn't care about the next world. He only cared about this world. He was living for this world. I have all this money right now. What do I care where I'm buried? I'll be buried here, I'll be buried there. Who cares? I get all this money. This is great. Esav said, this is great. So Yaakov Avinu said, now what did he do by doing that? He showed that his honor for his father wasn't so great. He didn't really have such honor for his father. Because if he's giving up the burial right to be buried next to his father, which is for eternity till Mashiach comes, so obviously he didn't really care too much for his father. Right? He had the right to be buried next to his father.
But what gave him that right? I'm confused about that.
Who gave the right to Esav?
Yeah.
Because he was there and he took care of his father all those years. So he got the right. He had the right.
This seems like more of a preemptive...
Esav had the right, and Yaakov Avinu was trying to buy that right, because he bought the Bechorim from him. Right? He brought the firstborn rights from him. Now he wants to buy the burial rights. Okay? So he says, wait a second. So if I give him all this money now, then I'll show that he doesn't really care about Israel. He doesn't care where he'll be buried. He doesn't care about his father. He wants money. So then Yaakov was able to subdue Esav and his merits with the money. How do you know this? Because last week's parsha, when he went down to Mitzrayim, he says he took the whole rechush, asher rachoshu be'eretz Canaan. He took all down to Mitzrayim, all his wealth that he acquired in Israel. He didn't have any other wealth. It doesn't say he took all of his wealth. It says specifically all of the wealth that he acquired in Israel. Specific. Yaakov said when we was going down to Egypt.
He took all his wealth with him. Okay.
He took his wealth with him. It says Rachoshu be'eretz Canaan. Okay, and then. Okay. So we accomplished a few things. Now we understand. Now Yaakov Avinu gave him the money. Now why did Yaakov Avinu give him all his money that he made in Canaan and he didn't want it? Why? Why did he not even want it? Why? He didn't negotiate with him. He could have said, okay, here, if I'll give you 500,000. I'll give you $1 million. I'll give you $2 million. I'll give you $3 million. No, here's everything. Why is he giving away? Is he such a?
He gave the money that he earned by love.
Yeah.
He took that.
But no, when he came back from Lavan, when he's coming back from Lavan, he came back, the Torah tells us, with a big, he gave him everything. He gave Esav everything. Was he such a bad negotiator?
No, it was.
Wait. What?
It wasn't kosher money.
Excellent. He's on the right track. Because we learned that actually everything that happens in Israel happens through Hashem, via Hashem directly. Anything that happens outside of Israel happens with a messenger of Hashem. Right, like it says, Tamid Eini Hashem Elekecha Bo Mereish Shana Alach V'Shana. Right, Hashem is paying attention exactly what happens in Israel. Yaakov Avinu didn't want anything that wasn't directly from Hashem through an angel. He didn't want that. Yaakov Avinu, we know he knew how to speak to angels. He saw angels going up the ladders and down right. He knew all about angels. He fought with the angel of Esav. Right, Yaakov Avinu knew a lot about angels. I don't want anything to do with them. I want to have something only directly. So all this money, I don't need it. I don't want it. I'll get whatever I get now in Israel. That's what I want to keep. So Yaakov Avinu showed his importance for the land of Israel. Right now it's at the time of the burial. Right now it's time of the burial.
Wait a second. He took his wealth from Israel to Egypt, though.
Yeah, whatever he took, he left. He packed up. He put it all in the moving truck.
Which was different. That was money he earned after.
He didn't have any money from Israel.
He did make money in Israel. Yaakov made money in Israel,
I thought he lost it all on his way to Laban. I thought he lost it all on his way to Laban.
Lavan. No, this is after Lavan. He came back from Lavan.
He's on his way back now.
No,
he came back to Israel. He gave Esav all of his money.
This thing with Esav came after that.
Yeah.
I thought you said
perhaps Yaakov Avinu got some of his money from Yitzchak.
No, I thought
Yitzchak. Don't forget Yitzchak. Everything he had.
I thought you said he had this discussion with him when he met him on the way.
On the way back from Lavan.
On the way back from Lavan, he hadn't been in Eretz Israel yet.
Yes, right. And that's why all that money that when he came to Lavan, he had no money at all.
Okay, so that money he said you can have.
You can have. He gave him all that money. So we discussed.
He had all the sheep and everything.
He gave him everything. He gave him everything. All of that stuff he gave to Esav.
Right. First he gave him the gift, but now he gives.
He gives him everything.
Okay.
Now he gives him everything. This is a transaction.
So he has no money at this.
He has no money, right?
No.
Now Esav says, okay, I'll take the money. Okay. Yaakov said, wait a second, will he make a contract? We're going to make a contract. I need a contract. I'm giving you a lot of money here, and I want a contract. I don't trust you. So he wrote up a contract. That I'm giving you all of this money, whatever it was, and this is for my rights to be buried in the Maratz HaMachpelah next to Yitzchak. He signed it. Witnesses, everything. That contract went with them back down to Mitzrayim.
Right.
Went with Yaakov Avinu with everything. Now they're at the Maratz HaMachpelah. They don't have the contract with them. They didn't think of bringing it with them. They had the contract, but they didn't think of bringing it. They went to bury their father. They weren't thinking about that.
They said Naphtali to get it.
Wait. Hold on. So now they're challenging Esav. Esav's challenging. He's saying, no, this is mine. But all the brothers are saying, wait a second, hey, our dear Uncle Esav. Don't you remember? He's their uncle, right?
Yeah.
Uncle Esav, don't you remember when we were coming back from Padan Aram, from Lavan, you took all of our father's money? We saw you take it. We all were there. They were all there. The brothers were all there at that transaction. Hey, Uncle Esav, what are you doing? You took the money. Why are you claiming this? Meanwhile, Chushim ben Dan. Chushim ben Dan. Chushim was the son of Dan. That was his name. He was deaf. Cherish, Chushim. That's why he had the name Chushim. Okay. Anyway, he's watching this whole thing going on. He doesn't hear. He only sees. So he sees all of his what do you call it? All of his uncles are all arguing with his great uncle Esav. What's going on over here? He doesn't understand. And then he sees Naphtali he gets himself ready to start running back to Mitzrayim. Where's he going? he can't hear. He doesn't know what's going on. So he sees this, and he sees Esav is he takes a club, and he beats Esav in the head so hard. The Gemara says this inside the Gemara. He beat him so hard that his head fell off. And he knocked out his eyes. His eyes got knocked. He hit it so hard that his eyes popped out. The eyes wound up landing underneath the Aron of Yaakov Avinu. His eyes wound up landing under the Aron of Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu was buried then. Right? And the head of Esav, when you go into Tamar's Pale, they have the story from the Gemara, right? When you're going in there, right, you have that story that tells you what happened, the whole thing when it came to Tamar, and Esav was there. This story, it's right on the wall there. But what we don't know is that we never knew what they were going back for. What was Naphtali going back to get that contract that they wrote on that day? That's what he was going back there. So how do you tie this to Asara B'Teves? Chushim is the same letters as Mashiach. Scramble the letters, you get Mashiach. Okay, the Chassam Sofer says an amazing thing. It's the holy, beautiful Chassam Sofer. He says that on this day, Hashem is judging if Mashiach should come. The day of Asara B'Teves is the day Hashem judges if this year Mashiach will come. You hear this? Mashiach will come this year. We want Mashiach to always come. But the judgment is happening now. Right now. Hashem is deciding, should this year be the year now? Tavshin Pei Hey. Should this now be this year that Mashiach is going to come? Amazing, right? That's why we can understand. This fast is different than all the other fasts. All the other fasts, when we have Shivasa B'Tammuz, the 17th of Tammuz, what are we doing? We're fasting about something that happened in the past. Tisha B'Av, it's something that happened in the past. It's Tzayim Gedalia, something of the past. Yes, it's true that in Asara B'Teves is also the time when Nebuchadnezzar, he surrounded Yerushalayim, laid siege around the city. So that did happen. That wasn't Bayis Rishon. It wasn't even Bayis Sheni. But there's something much greater happening on Asara B'Teves. And that's why it's the Navi, Yecheskel ben Buzi, was the greatest Navi. And the Yecheskel ben Buzi was the Ma'aser Merkavi, Yecheskel ben Buzi, right? He was it was a Navi in the time of Melech Nechanya. Right? Nechanya was the king here when Yecheskel had the prophecy. Hashem told him that if you guys aren't going to do the right thing, I'm going to destroy you, the Beis Hamikdash. Everything's going to be destroyed. But they were already exiled. They were exiled, and they didn't really feel that connection to the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash was still around. It wasn't destroyed, but a lot of the Jews already left. They already went to Bavel. They were already in Bavel. You understand? Before the destruction, right? So then he said that they were getting comfortable there. Like our brothers and sisters around the world, they're kind of comfortable where they are, right? They're kind of comfortable. Like, why do we got to... Huh?
They're very comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Hashem saved them by them going there, too.
What?
Hashem saved them by having them go to Babel because then they weren't there for the destruction of the temple.
I understand, but if they would have listened to the Navi Yecheskel, they would have came back, they would have done tshuva, they would have been able to come back and everything would have been fine. There would have been no destruction. Yeah. But instead they said, well, we kind of, Hashem will, it'll all blow over. Hashem is good. He won't destroy the Beis Hamikdash. Hashem loves us. He's not going to destroy the Beis Hamikdash. That's what they were saying. Yeah. That's what they were saying.
You fools.
Yeah, okay. So now, what is the idea that the eyes fell under the casket of Yaakov Avinu? Ayin is also 70. Ayin. The numerical value of ayin is 70. 70 nations. With Mashiach is going to come. Mashiach is the one that's going to take down the 70 nations. Can you believe that? Mashiach is going to be the one to take down the 70 nations. Mashiach. Right? So that's why we're discussing now, is Mashiach, Hashem is discussing now, should Mashiach come to take down the 70 nations? Amen. This is what we have to understand. And I believe this is the reason why it's Reb Noson's Yahrzeit. We have a tzaddik up there that's really going to bat for Klal Yisrael. I really believe that. He loved every Jew. He loved every Jew. Even those Jews that were against him, he loved them too. He loved them also. Even the one he prayed for that he should God, he loved him also. He loved them also. He did what he had to do, but he loved them also. You understand? That was Reb Noson. Reb Noson also was an amazing thing. He had a lot of clocks in his house. I don't know if you know that. Reb Noson always said, you have to be on time. Reb Noson said, a man that's not on time isn't a man at all. Hear this? A man that's not on time is not a man at all. I believe that's where the Yekis got it from. It was really from Reb Noson, right? Reb Noson was before the Yekis. He was before them. He had a lot of clocks, and he said you have to be punctual. A man always has time, he says, and a man that doesn't have time, a man that doesn't come on time, he's not a man at all. That was Reb Noson. Reb Noson grew up in the city of Nemirov, which is about 9 miles away from Breslov. It's only 9 miles. It's very close. Nemirov to Breslov. It's only about 9 miles. It's a very short ride. Even in those days, 9 miles wasn't a crazy trip. It wasn't a crazy trip.
No wonder it wasn't a trip.
Reb Noson came from a very, very wealthy family. His father was a very, very wealthy merchant. His father was a big vir Nemirov, a very big vir, but he was very much against Hasidus. His father was a real misnagid. He was against Hasidus, and he kind of disowned Reb Noson because Reb Noson went to first to Kedushas Levi, and then he came to Rabbi Nachman, and he became his scribe. Rabbi Nachman said about Reb Noson, without Reb Noson, no one would ever know who I am. No one would know my teachings. It's only because of Reb Noson that he knows that he knows. So, okay, that's an idea of a little bit of what Asara B'Teves is and how important the day is, and we hope that Hashem will actually bring Mashiach Tzidkenu in our day, speedily in our day. Amen. And Hashem will make that decision that this is the year that Mashiach will come. Okay, so let's learn a couple of lines, at least in Likutei Halachos. If you have to go, Reb Simcha, go. Have a good Shabbos and a meaningful fast, okay? Here we go. So we're up to Lamed Ches in Likutei Halachos, Hilchos Kriyas HaTorah, Halacha Vav, Lamed Ches 38. Interesting halacha. Here we go. Shulchan Aruch writes, also lahaschil likroi shnei psukim samach leparsha shelifnei. Right? You can't, in the beginning, when you read, right, you can't read two psukim from the parsha that was ahead of it, right? You understand? You can't from in front of it, right? So at the last aliyah, you can't finish with two psukim, right? You can't read two psukim into it, right? The shnei psukim samach leparsha lefaneh. V'chein also l'sayim shnei psukim samach leparsha shelachareh. Right? Here, let me explain it to you like this. It goes like this. In other words, a person, remember the rule is you have to always have 3 psukim, right? You have to read three passages. So if the first guy comes up to read, right? Let's say you get your aliyah, Mordechai, right? And then last week they would read, instead of starting this week with Parshas Vayechi, they would read 2 psukim of last week of Vayigash, right? Vayigash. Now, if someone comes in and they hear that they only hear the last pasuk, they only think that you finished at 1 pasuk. Hey, that's no good. And then the other way around, if at the end they would read 2 psukim in it, that wouldn't work either. In other words, you have to read where you are and always have at least 3 psukim, right? From the current reading. That's what we keep learning, right? You can't go back. You always go back and read the full thing again from the beginning each time. Shabbos by Mincha, Monday, Thursday, and then Shabbos we read the whole Kriya. Okay, the parsha of the V'tam Shama b'Gemara shemishum hanichnas v'ayotzim the one that comes in or they're leaving, right? The one that comes in or they're leaving, shelo yitu hanichnasim shekaru lazel lefanav rak shnei psukim. They shouldn't think that, we only read 2 psukim, right? V'chein shelo yitu hayotzim sheyikru shalachrav gam shnei psukim. There was only 2 psukim. They shouldn't think there was only 2. So always read the material the way it's supposed to be. Don't go back, don't go forward. Read where you're supposed to be. Right? Is that what it says over there? You like that, David? That makes sense? Read where you're supposed to be. So now we see that this Isser, to read 2 psukim, is really a very, very stringent thing. It's very, very strict. They're very strict about this. Gozru gezera shalei lahaskil l'sayim shnei psukim samach leparsha. So therefore, you can't read 2 psukim of the other parsha or the next parsha. Either way, you have to always finish where you're supposed to finish, exactly where you're supposed to finish. Don't finish before, don't finish after, right? Sasha, you got it? Right? Okay. Because again, you have to watch the 3 sections of the mind. The shalish prusais shebemayach. We said we have the chachma bina das, the 3 sections of mind. Sheyu mechitzais prusais bipnei zois hataiva, from the taiva of niyaf, right? To keep us away from immorality. Right? We have 3 lines of defense in the brain to keep us away from immorality. Remember we learned that, right? And those 3 psukim are the same the connection to the 3 sections of the mind. 3 psukim, 3 sections of the mind. What?
I'm confused about something.
What are you confused?
The Shulchan Aruch says that one must not begin reading a Torah section 2 verses into it. They weren't talking about before.
Yeah.
They're talking about
into it either, both ways. Both ways.
Not include reading 2 verses.
You finish, right? It's finish where you start, where you're supposed to start, and finish where you're supposed to finish. Don't go more, don't go less. In other words, it's halakha that dictates where they have to start and where they have to finish. Okay, so here, but that's for Mordechai. The main thing is, why is it 3? Because of the 3 sections in the mind.
Right.
We need the 3 lines of defense in the mind to keep us back from immorality. All right, we're going down to Mitzrayim. We're starting the weeks now of Shovavim, right? Shovavim, right? The whole weeks of Tshuva, right? From things that we saw that we did, things that we did that we shouldn't have done, and we can make Tshuva on things of the weeks of Shovavim. It's a very, very big thing. And how do you do it with the Shalish Prisos, the 3 sections of the mind? It's a good introduction to Shovavim right here. Isn't that amazing? See that? It all works, right? We tied the parsha. We tied the parsha in, and then we tied the same Gedalia, and then Asara B'Teves, and now we can tie in the Shovavim as well for next week. Shesham Eitz Hadas Achizas Eitz Hadas Toivarash Ayidei Zeikah Nisoyim V'Abeira Al Yodai Ikah Tikon. And that's the main tikkun from the Eitz Hadas Tovara. Again, the Eitz Hadas Tovara was this tree of knowledge, good and bad. Adam Chava, right, ate from that tree. They didn't do tshuva, right? They didn't do tshuva. Because they didn't do tshuva, that's why they got exiled, right? Who was the first ones to get exiled? Adam and Chava, right? They were the first ones to be exiled, right? Before that, there was no such thing as exile. They were in Gan Eden, right? They got exiled into the world where we are today. That's why you have to do Shnayim Mikra Ve'echad Targum. Why Shnayim Mikra Ve'echad Targum? Again, it's 3, right? You read 2 times the pasuk, 1 time the Targum. 3. 3 sections of the mind. 3 aliyot. Got it? Okay. And you won't get to that shir. Right? Remember we spoke about it, the shir, that song. That's going to happen. That Hashem is deciding right now if we're going to get that song right now. Right today, Hashem is making that decision if we're going to be able to hear this real song. All the other singers have these beautiful songs and they have everything. But no one has a song like this. This song is going to top all the songs. We're waiting for that song that's going to be revealed. We're waiting for that song. That is the name cheering, the delight in Olam Haba. Ki im al yedei beira adas me'achizas eitz adas teverash zeh bechinas targum. That's the idea of eitz adas tevera. That's targum, because we said targum has in it good and has in it bad. Right? The good is when you use it for Hashem. The bad is when they used it for what the Babylonians used it for their tithes and their other things. Right, so and each one, the way we work on our mind, and we work on what we see and what we think about and what we and what we do, we could be working on the mind. We're all working on the mind, which is again connected to the koyach hamedama, the imagination. All about the imagination. The more we beg Hashem to bring us to the tzaddikim, the true tzaddikim, and the ones that can help us, like these teachings, that can help us to understand the importance of why we have to be careful what we see, why we have to be careful who we speak to and what we say and how we say it, and all of those things. We have to be careful because again, we want to protect the mind. Because if I protect the mind, I can be connected to Hashem. If I don't, then it's not good. All right? Now, that's how a person can fix his medama. That's how a person can fix his imagination. To imagine good things. To imagine good things. To imagine that I could get close to Hashem, that Hashem will bring Mashiach, that I could come to see Mashiach, that I will one day be Zoichem Etz Hashem to see the Beis HaMikdash, Baya Shlishi. Think about that. Think about good things. Why not? Think about good things. וכנגד זה, בחינה שלושה פסוקים שבתורה, שמחויב כל אחד מהקוראים לקרוס לפוחס. That's why each one has to go up for an aliyah. They have to read at least 3 psukim. Again, the 3 lines of defense of the mind. We have to keep the mind clean. How do you keep the mind clean? Against with the 3 psukim. Shnaya mikra vecha targum. Read the pasuk 2 times, 1 time the targum, 3 again. You understand? It's all connected. Do it 3 times. Why? And you need the targum. Why do you need the targum? Because it has good and bad in there. But I'm using the targum for the good. That's why the targum is so important. Okay, we're discussing that the other day. Right?
So when I see the translation, I'll see good and bad in that translation?
No. The language itself, targum has in it good.
Okay, the words.
The words have in it good and bad. The same way we say when we're speaking in English or any other language, you're learning it. When you use the language in order to define Hashem, to get closer to Hashem, you're taking the good out of the language. Right? You're using the good part out of the language because you're defining Hashem. That's what we learned in Hilchos Kriya Shema and all of that. Okay. Shloisha shel Torah k'may shemer v'seinu zal brich rachmana da'oyev loy oyrin telisa b'yoyim telisa b'yarcha telisa. Blesses Hashem that gave the Torah, right? The Torah that was triple. You have Torah, Nevi'im, and Kesuvim. Right? That's the 3. The 3 of Torah is Torah, Nevi'im, and Kesuvim. Right? We know that the Nevi'im and the Kesuvim we say are emes, right? The Torah, Nevi'im, and Kesuvim, that's the 3. What is the 3? B'yoyim shlishi l'par, and he gave it to on the 3rd day of the parsha, b'chodesh hashlishi l'yetzias Mitzrayim, on the 3rd month coming out of Mitzrayim. Ki hakol keneged b'china shloisha moichin, all of that is against the 3 sections of the mind. See here, Hashem gave it on the 3rd day. The Torah was 3. What's the 3? Nevi'im, Torah, Nevi'im, and Kesuvim. He gave it on the 3rd month. Unbelievable. She'ikahu amayach hashlishi, shu adas, she'ika beiru, shu bechinas targum, which is the targum. And that's why the targum is so important, that we have the targum. Why? Because the targum is what helps us remember that there's good and there's bad, and I have to make the differentiation from good and bad. I have to know that what's bad is mamish bad, what's good is good, and I have to focus on what's good. You understand? That's why the targum is so important, because it has in it the same as the Eitz Adas Tov Ra. The tree had in it Eitz Adas Tov Ra. It was good and bad, but it was separated. So too, when I use the targum for the good to define the pasuk, to help me understand the Torah, so then that's the good, of course, and that's why the Targum is so important. Does everyone understand that? Right? Why the Targum is so important? Okay.
I heard what you said, but I'm thinking about, let me just kind of state in my mind here. The tree of knowledge is good and evil.
It had in it good,
and
it had in it bad,
so does
evil.
The words of the Targum.
Targum has in it good, and it has in it evil.
Okay. And so it can help us withstand the temptation of this passion.
No. To see the truth, to know the truth of what passions are true. My passion of Torah, my passion of Eretz Yisrael, my passion of loving Jews, right? Being connected to Klal Yisrael. Like we say, HaKadosh Baruch, we say, Araisa v'Kud Shabricha v'Yisrael Kula Yichadu. Right? We said that the Jewish people and Hashem and the Torah are all one. Right? To love that. That's the good. You understand?
Yeah.
And that's why you're using the Aramaic to define Torah, to get you closer to Hashem. Right? You get closer to Torah, you get closer to Hashem. Okay, anyone, any Jew that wants to take compassion, pity on himself, to get out of his impurity. Whatever impurity we're in, if we want to be able to get out of what impurity we find ourselves in, to get close to truth, tzaddikim, and the person has true kavanah, he wants to really return to Hashem. He wants to really be an Eved Hashem. This is what the day of Asara B'Teves, to do tshuva. To get close. The whole point of the fast is to realize if I don't eat, look how frugal, how weak I am. If a person doesn't eat in a few hours, he feels so weak. He realizes, what am I? It's not me. It's all you, Hashem. Right? There's a halach. I'll tell you something very interesting here. Halach. If a person has a Jewish servant, an Eved Ivri, right? Eved Ivri goes to Beis Din and he says, "I was hit. They hit me. They ask him, "Who hit you?" If he says, "I don't know. I got hit by Yankel, whatever. I got hit by my mother. I got hit by this." They said, "Too bad. It doesn't matter. You go back." But if he says, "I was hit by my master," he goes free. You're not allowed to abuse a Jewish slave, right? So the Ben Ish Chai said it's an amazing thing. If we realize anytime anything happens in our life, anything that happens in our life, and we realize it's from Hashem, not from him, not from her, not because of the market, not because of the leader, not because of the government, not because of I know it's from Hashem, so then you get salvation. You understand? If the Eved Ivri is hit by the master, he gets redeemed. We're the servants of Hashem. If we got something that happened to us and Hashem was the one that did it, so then Hashem lets us go free. If we realize it's from Hashem, we don't blame somebody else.
So when
we always like to blame somebody else. Look what he told me. Oh, he did this. He's terrible. This guy's terrible. She's terrible. This is terrible. No, Hashem, I see it. I know it. That's like Yitzchak. He sees right through it. He knows it's not this guy. It's not that. These are all part of Hashem's messengers. Like we said with Yaakov Avinu, he doesn't want any malachim. He wants to deal directly with Hashem. He doesn't want any malach, right? If he does it, why? Because then you get redeemed. That's how you get redemption.
So when he says his master hit him, he's talking about Hashem.
Hashem, yes. Realize that it all happened from Hashem. Yeah. Loshev laHashem yizbarach. V'tzarich leida shebehechrich sheyavru olav kama v'kama mashbeirim v'golim ubechinas v'nisyoinais v'tzeirufim. You know that during your life you're going to go through a lot of different things. Things are going to happen. Right? People come to tzaddik and say, "Hey, give me a blessing. Give me a blessing that I should have no problems." The tzaddikim will tell him, "You know what? Then you want a blessing to be dead?
Right, exactly.
You want to be dead? Do you want to be dead? Dead people have no problems.
Yeah.
You want to be dead? You're alive. You can have problems. He'd rather ask for a blessing. Help me deal with my problems. Yeah. Let me see Hashem in my problems. Find Hashem in the problem. That's the way to do it, right? If he won't be a fool, he'll realize it's all from Hashem. He'll realize he'll see Hashem in everything. So in the end, he'll certainly be good, and he'll certainly be victorious. I think we'll stop over here because it's 8:30 already, and we want to do a Dvar Halacha, okay? So this was does anyone have any questions about what we said?
I just need to maybe restate it or clarify it. So it's
What do you
all
need?
about the reading the two pasuk and
Two psukim, right?
psukim and targum.
Each pasuk you read it 2 times and 1
Right.
time the targum.
and it all relates to the
It means a
three areas of the
chachma
mind.
bina das. The
And
third one is das.
And dat is
Das,
the one-
eitz das, tov v'ra. Eitz das, tov v'ra. The tree was eitz das, tov v'ra. That's why we use the targum, which is also the mayach hashlishi, which is the das, and it has in it good and bad. Makes sense? You like that? It's mamish amazing.
And that is the one
What is the
that
fourth one?
Huh?
What is the fourth part?
The fourth part, when you take das and turn it into keter.
but that is the one.
We're talking about the 3. Now that yeah.
That's is one where you're learning from experience and making decisions. And when you learn from the tzaddik, then you will be guided towards the
guide
good.
you towards the right thing.
Good.
Yes.
And if you're not learning from tzaddikim, you're learning from some guy who shoots people out in the dark, then you're going to head in that
You're going to head
direction.
in exactly. Bidiyuk. Very good. Okay, so we'll stop over there. Now let's just
What
do
is the song, though? I'm not clear
the
what
song.
is.
The song is the song of 72. The song is the song of Pashit, Shia Pashit, Kafel, Meshulish, Meruba. The song, the singular, the double, the triple, and the quadruple. Remember we learned that?
Is that the
Based on the
Kiddush?
72, based on the Shem's name. The
Is that
70.
also Kiddush?
Yeah, Kiddush also. Yeah, very good. 72, right. Vayi erev vayi voker. Yom hashishi, vayichulu hashamayim. Yud ke vav ke. Right, 72 words in Kiddush. Very good. That was last week's lesson, right? Very good. Very good. It's all connected.
It's a lot.
A lot of connections. Yeah, okay, let's go. We're learning in Hilchas Mezuzah, Baruch Hashem. Let's do one halacha. Kids Shulchan Aruch, we're in Siman Yud Aleph, and we're in Hilchas Mezuzah. We're almost finished with Hilchas Mezuzah. Wow, unbelievable. Huh? We're up to Yud Zayin. Yes, here we go. Oh, you asked this question the other time. Beis HaMerchatz u'Bursiki u'Beis HaTfila Peturim. Right, if you have a bathhouse, public bathhouse, right? Or even your bathroom in your house. You have a bathroom, right? You have a bursiki, you have a tannery, right? A tannery where they take care of leather. The Gemara speaks about that. They had a terrible, terrible odor. So much so that the people that worked in the bursiki had to have their own minion. Those guys all had their own minion. Could you believe that? They used to define people by their trade. The tradesmen would go to a certain minion. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so the borsiki, or Beis HaTfila, or you go to a mikveh. Beis HaTfila is a mikveh, right? Paturim. Because these are not places of covet. These are not places of honor, right? You know, in a bathhouse, people are undressed. There's no honor there, right? There's no honor, and when it stinks from the tannery, yeah, sure. From the bathhouse, you come out clean. From the borsiki, you get beautiful leather in the end, right? You can even make tefillin. You can make a sefer Torah. It's beautiful. But in the process, it stinks, right? Okay. Here we go. Aval refes bakar. But if you have what do you call a pen? What do you call it? An animal holding pen. A refes bakar, right? What? Want to call that a barn? Okay, a barn. A pen, a barn. Okay. V'chedesh shemigaldim bayoyfei. So you have a chicken coop. Right, that's a chicken coop, right? Right, you have a chicken coop, beis hatevin va'etzim, or you have a storage room where you keep your straw. You want to keep it dry, and you keep your wood for firewood or whatever it is. Va'otzrei shel yayin, or you have a wine cellar, right? The wine where you're keeping your precious wine. Oy shel shar mashkin, or other kinds of drinks. Let's say you have beer or whatever you keep, or whatever you store. Im yesh lahem shir bayis chayovin. If it's big enough where it's 4x4, right? It's a big storage room, right? You have a big room that it's enough. So then it will be chayav v'yesh paitrin. The Rambam says that's I believe what he's saying is the yesh paitrin is the Rambam, because the Rambam says that if it's not a place where you live, you don't have to have a mezuzah. Only on place, because it says al mezuzahs beisecha uvisharecha. Your house where you live, where you dwell. So, but we don't paskin like the Rambam, the Sfardim do. So most of the times by the Sfardi's house, you will not find that they have a wine room. They won't have a mezuzah on there. If it's just a room that they have just for wine, they wouldn't put up a mezuzah, right? Okay, but we would put up a mezuzah if it's at least 4 by 4. So if it's 8 by 8, which is 4 by 4 is 8 by 8, right? So if your room by feet, okay, if you have a room that's 8 feet by 8 feet. That would be Mechayev Mezuzah, and it's just so amazing to understand the difference in halacha, and then where they put mezuzahs, who holds what, and so on. Okay, so I think that's we'll stop over there. Should we do one more? Want to do another one?
You say that like an office building,
Yeah.
If they put up mezuzahs, but you wouldn't make a bracha.
You don't make it right because it's not unless in an office they have, let's say, a couch. If a person has a couch where he lays down, he takes a nap there, then it's living. So then he could make a bracha on that.
He sits at his desk.
Just sitting at a desk is not. There's no.
He said sleeping at your desk.
No, that wouldn't work. No. If you have something where it's more like you're living, where if the guy has, let's say, he has his in a shower and he has his couch and he has things where he can live. A lot of people stay in their office a lot, and then those people would have to put a mezuzah on their door. But Ashkenazim would put the mezuzah either way, but you will make a bracha. No bracha on that, yeah. Okay, we're good? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, so I wish everyone a good Shabbos, and as they say over here, it should be a tzom kal. Okay, I mean, it's Hashem, and see the beauty of it. We understand the Reb Noson. It's also my dear grandmother's Yahrzeit, Esther Rוחama, Bas Reb Chaim Halevi. Wow. Amen. Kol tuv, everybody.